Hi, hello, welcome back to my channel Tutor Things. Yeah, previously we started we are discussing the questions related to AZ-900, which is an Azure Fundamental exam. So to crack this exam, you have to learn about the basic fundamentals related to Azure. So in these videos, we are going to cover the basic sample questions which you can expect on which topics or concepts we are going to explain you or give a sample test of bits how you can expect the questions in that exam. So how can you crack that exam by having basic idea about those things we are going to discuss in these videos. We have made part 1, part 2 and part 3 related to this. In each videos we have covered each of the 40 bits nearly. So this is the last video, is a part 4 where we are covering more than 40 bits. We are going to cover in this 60 bits in this video. So each bit is most important to know the concept behind that bit, how the bits are being asked in AZ-900 exams. So each and everything I will clearly explain you in this video. Watch this video till end. Don't skip any part. If you haven't watched the previous videos, go to my channel and visit to the Azure tutorials playlist. In that you will have some concept related basic Azure concepts with a simple English. You can easily understand the Azure basic fundamental concepts. Then you will have all these dumps related to AZ-900 exam. Soon we are going to upload other related exams also, like 900 and 104 and 500 AZ. These kind of things also we are going to upload the sample test of questions which will help you to crack those exams. So let's get started without any delay. Before getting started, I want to mention single point. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and click the bell icon so that you will get notified each time when we upload new video related to any Azure fundamentals or any other related concepts. This channel is basically concentrated on technical things so that you will get basic knowledge about all the fields. We can expect videos on all related fields. So stay tuned to our channel by subscribing and clicking the bell icon. So let's get started. Here is the 121 bit which is related to a question that is having an instructions, and if the statement is correct, then you can tell us no change is required. Otherwise, if there is any correction in that particular statement, you can select the correct answer, appropriate answer for that underlined text. Here the underlined text is the statement is this one, like resource groups provide organizations with the ability to manage the compliance of Azure resources across multiple subscriptions. They are telling like resource groups provide organizations the ability to manage the compliance of Azure resource groups like Azure resources across multiple subscriptions. Like Azure groups is not dealing with the managing of compliance of Azure resources, but they are dealing to further issues like management, like deleting resources, like all these some advantages are there related to Azure groups, but not related to manage the compliance of the Azure resources for across multiple subscriptions. Like this comes under, we can say it as policies. Azure policies can do all these sides of managing compliances, those things, but not Azure groups are responsible for this or that can provide ability to do such kind of things. We can say as no. The change is needed to Azure policies, where Azure policies can manage this compliance things across the organization, or we can say for example multiple subscriptions are there. We can go with the Azure policies which is used to manage the compliances, not for Azure resource groups or Azure resource. These things are needed for that purpose. If you want to read out the explanation, you can read out the explanation. Like you will get more knowledge if you read out these explanations. So that will help you to understand what is the basic idea in this question, how this question is framed, or what is the logic, how we can expect other related questions also. You can get by read out in the explanation here. You can pause this video at this moment and you can read out that summary which here is given. If I read out these things and explain this explanation also, that will be lengthy. We are going to cover more than 60 bits. This video will take a lot of time for sure. So I am skipping this explanation part and just giving the brief explanation about the question. So let's move on to the next question. So here also we have a statement. If the statement is true, then you can recommend a solution for that. Like what is a recommended solution to minimize the impact of users across planned solution. They are giving some statement. You can read out this statement and what you are going to recommend for that. You can recommend. The question is, your network contains an active directory forest. The forest contains 5,000 user accounts. Your company plans to migrate all the network resources to the Azure and to decommission the on-premises data center. You need to recommend a solution to minimize the impact on the users after planned migration. So after migrating, you should minimize the impact of users on this particular migration. So what you can choose, what you can recommend for this type of scenario they are asking about. Then you can suggest the thing is nothing but syncing all the Active Directory user accounts to the Active Directory which you are working. You can sync all the Active Directory accounts to this one Active Directory so that all these migrations will not affect or impact on the users which we are having on that particular subscriptions or account, we can say. So this migrating of Azure and decommission the on-premises data center, you need to create 5,000 user accounts in the directory. The easy way to do is this thing is to syncing all the Active Directory user accounts to the Azure Active Directory so that you can migrate these things with the easily. So you can recommend this solution for that purpose. So next statement is this type of questions we can expect that is known as yes or no questions. Like if the statement is true, then you can go as yes. If the statement is wrong, then you can go with the no. They're asking about you can configure the Azure Active Directory activity logs to appear in Azure Monitor. The activity logs are in Azure Monitor they are asking about. Like you can log the activities in Azure Monitor to monitor. Yes, of course you can log the activities to monitor their performance or like this. Since you can say yes. From Azure Monitor you can monitor resources across multiple subscriptions. You can monitor resources, but not with the multiple subscriptions. With one subscription, you can monitor it in one Azure Monitor system with that subscription only. So no statement is no. From Azure Monitor you can create alerts. As of course you can create alerts based upon the condition you can give for the security purpose. If that limit cross like that, you can get alerts by using an Azure Monitor. You can create alerts as true, yes you can give as yes. Like that you can't monitor the resources with the multiple subscriptions. So statement is false. You can read out this explanation by pausing the video here and we'll go to the next question. So to complete the sentences, select the appropriate answer in the answer area. You will give a question, so which is suitable for that question, you can select those from this answer area. They're asking about you can view which user turned off the specific virtual machine during last 14 days. So which user turned on the machine in the last 14 days, you can get to know by using this activity log. If you are using this activity log, then you will get all the activities related to the resource group will be logged at one place, so that you can analyze those things and activity log, and you can answer the question like which user is specific time virtual machine is using, or in which specific time the virtual machine is offered. You can identify and you can answer this question by using the Azure activity log. So if you want to know this, you can pause this video and read out the explanation here. So which service provides a network traffic filtering across multiple active subscriptions, Azure subscriptions and virtual network. They are telling about a network trafficking or network filtering, we can say, provides a network traffic filtering across the multiple Azure subscriptions and virtual networks. Coming to virtual networks and Azure multiple subscriptions, we can have this Azure firewall. Firewall is best solution for any traffic filtering things. We can use this Azure firewall. We can restrict traffic from multiple networks and in multiple subscriptions with this single Azure firewall. So we can suggest this, which is a managed cloud-based network security service that provides Azure network resources. It is fully stateful firewall, as its service is built in high availability and unrestricted cloud and scalability. You can use this thing for that purpose. So the answer is Azure firewall. And next we have a question related to they're asking about scenario. They are going to create one resource group which is an RG1 in the Azure Resource Manager. You need to prevent the accidental deletion of the resource group RG1. They are building an resource group using Azure ARM, like Azure Resource Manager. They have to prevent the accidental deletion of that particular resource. Then setting which you use, which setting you are going to use for this if you want to prevent this accidental deletion of resource group R1. Then you have to, they are given images, so that from that you can have to select from that. So from that images you can select which answer you are going to give. Then you can use this log so that no one can delete, like unexpected deletion can be prevented by using these logs. So you can select logs from that image. So you can read out this explanation, like you can configure a log on the resource group to prevent the accidental deletion. This is one point you have to remember. We can expect questions on this accidental deletion. By giving lock, we can't delete. Like some things are like you can't delete, means for authorized users can still read and modify the resource but can't delete the resource. And read only is there, where you can you can read the resource but can't delete and update the resource. So after applying these locks, you can restrict the users which you are going to use to up to what limit you can decide by using these locks. And next question, which Azure service should be used to store certificates? If you're coming to certificates, to store certificate or sensitive kind of information, we can go use and this Azure Key Vault. To any secure storage or any certificates or any keys or any sensitive information, you can use this Azure Key Vault. Is a secure store for storage various types of sensitive information including passwords and certificates. Can be used as securely stored and tightly control access to tokens, passwords, certificates, API keys and other secrets. So secrets and keys are supported by this Azure by using this industry standard algorithm, key lengths and hardware security modules. Like these many things are used in this key vault. So it is better to use this key vault for storing any sensitive information like passwords and certificates. So this is one of the bit we can expect. Most of the bits comes under this Azure Key Vault. We can expect up to 2 to 5 bits from any Azure AZ-900 related to Azure Key Vault. Like security is most important. The concern about coming to security concerns, they will give bits related to 10 we can expect in this Azure exams. So next, they're asking about, we have a resource group named as RG1. You can plan to create a virtual networks and app services in RG1. You need to prevent the creation of virtual machines only in RG1. So you need to prevent the creation of virtual machines only in RG1, not only in RG1. So you need to prevent up to RG1 only. It should not create other than that things. Then what you can do is you can use an Azure policy. Here in this place of policies can define the requirements of the resource group properties during the deployment or any for already creating existences like that. So Azure policies controls the properties such as types, locations and resources. So by using this Azure policy, we can use create or assign any manage policies. Any policies we can manage by using this Azure policy. Ensure different rules, you can have different effects over the resources and you can manage the things by using this Azure policy. It's a better solution to perform such kind of preventing any creation of any resource in that resource group, and not only virtual machines like that you can do. So what you can Azure information protection and encrypt? What can Azure information protection and encrypt? You can call it as AIP. AIP encrypt, what this can do means, this is for basically documents and email messages that can be encrypted by using this Azure information protection encrypt. This is for documents and email messages. Can encrypt these documents and email messages because it is a cloud-based solution that helps the organization to classify, optimally protect its documents and emails by applying labels. By applying labels we can do this protection. Labels can be applied automatically by administration who can define rules or conditions, or manually we can do by users, or combinations where user can give in recommendations we can give, or administration can assign the rules or everything. So this comes under this documents and emails we can protect by using this Azure information protection encrypt. Next, what we have is, what should you use to evaluate the whether your company's Azure environment meets the regulatory requirements? So how should you can do these things? Like what should you use to evaluate whether your company's Azure environment meets the regulatory requirements? Then you should have this compliance manager from the service trust portal. So that from the service trust portal, you can have this compliance manager, which is a service in Azure portal, which is a workflow based risk assessment tool that helps you to track, assign and verify your organization's regulatory compliance activities related to Azure cloud services such as Microsoft 365 and Dynamics 365 and Azure. Such kind of things can be used by using this service trust portal. And next we have bits like true or false. Azure Advisory can generate a list of Azure virtual machines that are protected by Azure Backup. No, you can't do that. So if you want to implement the security recommendations provided by Azure Advisor, your company's secure will decrease. Not decrease, that will not be decreased. So no. To maintain Microsoft support, you must implement the security recommendations provided by Azure administration within 30 periods of time. No, there is no requirement to implement the recommendations provided by the Azure advisor. The recommendations are just that recommendations, they are not requirements, right? So you no need to do within 30 period of time. So it is better to not be failure, right? So that you can manage accordingly with to affect to that doesn't affect your requirements or your applications like that. You can manage. So this question is related to the statement. If the statement is correct, then you can say as no change is required. Otherwise, you can select the correct reason for that. So your company implements Azure Policies to automatically add a watermark to the Microsoft Word documents that contain a credit card information. If you're having a credit card information, your company is going to automatically add a watermark to the Microsoft Word documents. Then, your company implements Azure Policies like that. So you can do like that, or by what we are using, they are telling like by using Azure Policies they are automatically adding. No, Azure Policies we can't add that. We can encrypt these documents or emails information by using this Azure Information Protection, which is automatically adds watermarks to this Microsoft Word documents that contain a credit card information. So that can be done by using this AIP, which is Azure Information Protection. Labels to classifications to documents and emails. We have discussed previously in this bit. We got this. When you do this, this classification is identifiable regardless of what data is stored or with whom it is shared like that. Labels can include visual markings such as headers, footers and watermarks. We have discussed like AIP, which is automatically encrypting these documents and emails by using labels. Here comes under labels is nothing but footers, headers and also watermarks also. So this bit is also comes under that concept only. So you can read out this explanation by pausing the video here. So next is also a statement related bit. From Azure Monitor, you can view which user turned off specific time during last 14 days. This is also discussed previously. So with not Azure Monitor, doesn't done anything by using the Azure activity log, like which resource group is working on which time. Every activity of the resource group can be loaded or logged in this activity log. So by using activity log, you can specify, you can mention, you can know that which user is turned off which virtual machine during what time, during up to how much time, like during last 14 days or anything. You can get to know by using this Azure activity log, but not Azure Monitor. So the statement is wrong. You should replace this Azure Monitor with this Azure activity log to use these things. And next bit is related to the concept related thing. So you should read out the text here. They have given, you have an Azure virtual network named as VNet1 in the Azure resource group of named RG1. You can assign an Azure policy definition of not allowed resource type group and specify that resource virtual machines are not allowed in the resource group type of in RG1. This VNet1 is deleted automatically. They are telling like this. So we are having a Azure policy definition of not allowed resource type group and specify that virtual networks are not allowed in the resource group type 1, then that will be deleted automatically. They are telling like it continues to function normally. That will not be going to deleted after this much of time. Like policy is to be not to allow the resource to grab, like if you are giving any virtual networks or not allowed of resource group type, then that will not happen. Like VNet will be marked as non-compliant when policy is assigned. However, it is not going to delete that. It will continue to function normally only. It will not going to be deleted, but it should function like normally. But Azure Policy is a service in which Azure that you can create, design and manage policies. That is up to you. You can manage like the rules which is given by yourself. You are restricting yourselves by using this policies. This policies enforce the different rules and effects on your resource group so that the resource groups stay compliant with the corporate standards and service level agreements. If there is any existence of resources that are in compliant with your new policy assessment, then they are under non-compliant resources but not going to be deleted. Okay. Next statements, yes or no type of questions. Here is the Azure firewall will encrypt all the traffic networks sent from Azure to the network. No. So not encrypt entire traffic, it just blocks or allows the traffic based upon the source and destination IP addresses and source and destination ports and protocols like that, but not encrypt the traffic, right? So next NSG will encrypt all the traffic sent from Azure to the internet. So no, that will also not encrypt. It's just similar to the firewall, that in that it block or allow the traffic based upon the destination IP address and ports and protocols like that only. So Azure virtual machines that run on Windows Server 2016 can encrypt the traffic network, send the virtual machine to the host on the internet. They are asking about virtual machine will encrypt. No, this question is rather rogue, that it depends upon the configuration of the host on the internet. Windows Server doesn't come with an VPN client like that. Like, it supports other encryption methods such as IP session encryption and SSL, THL to encrypt the traffic. The network host were configured to require or accept the encryption. The VM could not encrypt the traffic as to the internet to the host. It is not configured to require the encryption, right? That statement is wrong. And next we have this, your company has a subscription that contains resources in all several groups. A company policy states that administration must only be allowed to create the additional resources in a region, in a country, whether their office is located. You need to create a resource group, so that should make must be used to meet the policy requirement. So what you can create for that purpose? So we are going to create resource groups in many things. The policy states administration won't be allowed to create additional resources in a region, in this particular region only where office is located. They are not to be allowed to create other regions. So how can you restrict these kind of things? You can restrict by these kind of things by using a policy. Like, if you have a policy with the definition like our requirements or properties during the deployment or already creating existing resources, you can set a policies, like you can control the properties such as type and location and where the resources should be, like how much size. So you can restrict all these things by using Azure Policy. You can create, assign and manage policies, and these policies are for different rules and affect different resources, so that they will stay in your company's complaint or any corporate standards like that, service level agreements like that. You can have this Azure policy, so that they will allow to create in that location only. And next we have this statement related to Azure Cloud Shell. From Azure Cloud Shell, you can track your company's regulatory standards and regulations such as ISO 7001. So from Azure Cloud Shell, no, you can't do such kind of things from the Azure Cloud Shell. You can have this compliance manager related to complete standards and anything you can have see in this compliance manager. So where with a free workflow based upon the risk assessment tool that helps you to track and assign and verify regulatory compliance related to Microsoft Cloud services or other things. From other side, Azure Cloud Shell is just an interactive authenticated web browser accessible shell for managing Azure resources, not for compliance such of type of things. So we can have this Azure Compliance Manager for managing the pre-requirements like that. Yes or no type of questions. You can create a group policies in Azure Active Directory. Yes, you can join Windows 10 devices to Azure Active Directory. Yes, you can join resource groups. So Azure AD is only applies to Windows 10 only, not other systems. You can join Android devices to Azure Directory. No, you can't done. So no statement is true, not true. No. Next, the Microsoft Online Services Privacy Statement explain what data where privacy states that explains what data process and how Microsoft process the data and purpose of processing the data. Thus, Microsoft Service Policy stating all these things. Yes, it will state that online service privacy statement, like what type of data is processing, how Microsoft processes the data, and the purpose of data processing. All these things can be stated by this statement, right? So statement is true, no changes needed. The answer is A. So it explained what personal data Microsoft process, how, and the processing of data that will be given by this privacy statement. So next, yes or no statements. Security. Azure Security Center can monitor Azure resources and on-premises resources. Yes. All security centers features are free. No, some security features are paid. So we have to have these two features like continuous assessment, security recommendations that will be paid, and Azure Resources Secure Score are free. Only these three are free, or not all resources are not free. From Azure Security Center, you can download a regulatory compliance report. Yes, you can download a regulatory compliance report from Azure Security Center. True. Next question is related to authorization. Authorization is a process of verifying a user's credentials. Users credentials is not authorization, that is authentication. Authentication is nothing but verifying the user's credentials is authentication, not authorization. Is a process of verifying user credentials. The difference between these two things you can read out by pausing the video here. Authentication is proving your identity, proving who you are. The most common example for this is logging into system by providing the credentials such as username and password. Whereas authorization is what you are allowed to do once you are authorized. For example, what resources you are allowed to access and what to do with these resources and what you can read only or you can delete those. That is nothing but authorization. But authentication is nothing but a password login in the system that like that. This is a basic question you should know about that. And next we have several virtual machines in the Azure subscription. You can create a new subscription. The virtual machines can be moved to new subscription. They are telling about if you are having a subscription, several virtual machines, you are having a new subscription, then you can move the system to the new subscription they are telling about. So the virtual machines can be moved to new subscriptions. They are telling like you cannot move they are telling about, but you can move from one subscription to other subscription. Virtual machines can be moved from one subscription to subscriptions. And its associated resources to the reference by using the Azure portal. So by using Azure portal, you can moving between the subscriptions can be handled if you are originally created this VM in a personal subscription. And now what you can want to move your company subscription, you want to continue your work, you need to start your VM in order to move it, and you should continue running and doing the moving. Your VM should be running while you are moving, so that you can do. If you are going from your personal subscription to company subscription, you can move your VM to that subscription. There is no problem in that. They're telling like you can't move, but you can move. So next, you can attempt to create several managed Microsoft SQL, the several instances in an Azure environment and receive messages that must be increase your subscription limit. So for that, you should create a new support request for that. So many Azure resources have a quiet limits. Like the process of quiet limits is to help you control your Azure cost, right? So that will cost you much. That is not recommended, right? Here it is common to acquire any increase of default quota like that. This quota limits is to help you to control your Azure cost that much only. So you can create a new support request for that purpose, so that your issue will be resolved like that. Next, we have a no type of questions where we have three statements. If a company using an Azure free account, you will only be exposed to subset of Azure services. No, you can't. Your free account, then you will have a 12-month of access to the most popular free services, so that you can use your credit up to $200 to one subscription for up to 30 days. All Azure free accounts expire after a specific period. Yes, free accounts will expire within a specific time period. Okay, yes. You can create up to 10 Azure free accounts by using same Microsoft account. No, you can't create 10 free accounts, only one free account that is up to 30 days, which is giving it to $100. The statement is wrong. No. Each Azure subscription can contain multiple account administrations. Yes, multiple account administrations will be there for each subscription. Each subscription can be managed by using Microsoft account only. No, you can manage those subscriptions not only by using a single Microsoft account. So other accounts also okay with that. An Azure resource group contains multiple Azure subscriptions. No, an Azure is logical. It's just thing, but an Azure group is nothing but a logical containers for storing related Azure resources, or to delete those things, to manage Azure resources in a quite good way. We use this Azure resource groups, that much only. It doesn't contain any subscriptions, or subscription contain resource group, like nothing like that. No. Next question is, your company is having 10 offices. You can generate several billing reports from the Azure portal, and that will contain, each report will contain Azure utilization of each office. Which resource ARM feature would you use to before generate the reports? Before generating the reports, which you are using, because for billing purpose they mostly use this tags in an organization, because to to label the different types of categories, or we can say departments, they use these tags. This department people are this type of people, or this is from office one, this is from location one, like that. They will give the tags. From they using tags, they can easily do this building process, which minimizes their effort or their impact on that billing thing, like that. So we can by using tags, you can generate these reports. Before generating reports, you can use tags so that your work will be reduced, or you can easily understand what resource is costing high, which resource group is using or billing, like that. In the Azure Active Directory Premium, at least 99.9% availability is guaranteed. Yes, guaranteed. SLA is 19.9. The service level agreement for Azure Active Directory Basic is same for SLA for Azure Active Directory Free. No, not is a free. It's also a cost you. All paying Azure customers can claim a credit card if their monthly uptime percentage is below the guaranteed amount of service level agreement. Yes, you can read out this explanation by pausing the video here. If you can expect this type of questions, true or false, based upon the one topic. Here you can see only on the service level agreement SLA we have this thing. In the previous screen we can expect questions related only to Active Directory. Like if you are familiar with one topic, you can crack all these three questions similar to that concept only. And next question is related to underlying thing. You can deploy an Azure resource. The Azure resource becomes unavailable for the extended period due to the service outage. The Microsoft will refund your bank account. Yes, credit your account. If you deploy a resource group, then that is will be unavailable for extended period of time during their problem. So they will definitely credit your account. Like if an SLA for an Azure service is not met, if they are giving that much agreement, like they are telling like you will get 19.9% of service level agreement for that particular service. If you are not getting for any outrage of their problem for the extended period, then you can refund. Yes, Microsoft will refund your money. It will credit your account. Like you can read out by pausing the video here. Like if it is deduced from your monthly bill for that service, like that you can do. Not by crediting, but they will deduce your monthly bill for that particular service which you are affected with, so that your billing will be happen. So you can know more about this. If you are using or your service is not working for because of this service outage, you can contact them for your payment should be backed and refunded with your account, credited with your account, right? Yes. Next we have this all Azure service in private preview must be accessed by using separate Azure portal. No separate portal, only one single portal where we have this all public and private services in one thing. Next, Azure service in public preview can be used in production environments. Yes, for production environments we have this public preview. You can also give feedbacks while using this public preview, like this is good, or you can give feedback by that they can do such kind of any improvement in that, like that. So Azure service in public preview are subject to service level agreement. No, they doesn't give any service level agreement for the public preview, because they want to get feedback from you. They have introduced such feature, but not to give 100% service level agreement or for that. And next which is true or false things. This is standard support plan is included in Azure free account. No. A premier support plan can be only purchased by the companies that have enterprise agreement EA. Yes. Support from MSD forms is only provided to the companies that have a pay as you go subscription. Yes. No. Azure Pay is a subscription which is the lowest subscription where you will get to paid as we use. There is no MSDN forms is only provided to that, but that will be provided to users with any type of Azure subscription, not only particular type of subscription, like that. You can say as answer as no. So that can be as pay as go and enterprise agreement and Microsoft customer agreement, like that. All these things should support MSDN forms. Okay. And next we have a bit related to company's migration. Your company's plans to migrate Azure. This is all type of scenario type of questions we can expect more in this AZ-900. So where your knowledge is correctly being tested, right? So your company's plan to migrate to Azure. The company has several departments. All the Azure resource groups used by each department will be managed by department administration. Similarly, companies will have departments. Each department is managed by each department administration. Then what are the two possible techniques to segment Azure or for the department? How you can segment or have this different types of departments? Then you should go for multiple subscription. For different types of department, you will have a different types of subscription, so that you can, that will be easy to for billing purpose, or you give permissions or boundaries or limit policies to the different type of peoples through this multiple subscriptions. And also you can do one thing is multiple resource groups. You can also have multiple resource group and multiple subscription. By using these two things, you can segment this Azure for different types of departments and their organization. So like these things will help out. You can read out the explanation papers in the video here. And next statement is if the Microsoft plans to end support for an Azure service that doesn't have the successor service, Microsoft will provide notification at least 12 months before. They are asking about the notification from the Azure that will get from 12 months before if you do not have a successor service. So you can get this notification from that, because this is they're in support from there, because of them we are getting this. So they will get notified for at least 12 months before, like that. So it is a modern life cycle policy which covers products and services that are services and supported continuously. For products governed by the modern life cycle policies, the Microsoft will provide minimum of 12 months notification period for ending any support if no successor product or service is offered, excluding free services or preview releases. So you can read out this explanation here. So to get knowledge about this modern life cycle, you should go through the theory related to that. So next statement is true or false. A user who is assigned to the owner role can transfer ownership of an Azure subscription. No, they cannot able to transfer the subscription. They could be building administration or global administration can do. A subscription owner can manage all the resources and premises within the subscription only, but cannot transfer any ownership to the other subscription, like that. So you can convert the Azure subscription of your company from free trial to as you pay as go. Yes, you can migrate from one subscription to Azure subscription. If you are using the free subscription, then you can go to as pay as go by paying your paying for your account or billing purpose. So Azure spending limit is fixed and cannot be used or increased or decreased. No, you can remove the spending limit, but you can increase or decrease it. Spending limit in Azure is preventing spending over your credit card amount, but you can increase or decrease that. So next bit is true or false things. With Azure reservations, you can plan less for Azure reservations. With that will be as pay as you go pricing. Yes, you can reserve these things. A reservation is where we commit to pay for resource. That is example for a virtual machine for 1 or more years. This gives you a discounted price on your virtual machine for the reservation period. So most of the people use for these reserved virtual machines to decrease their billing. So they plan like that. So if you create two Azure virtual machines that uses B2S size, each virtual machine will also generate the same monthly cost. No two virtual machines will create the same. Even there is a single changes or location regions or any sizes differences, they will the billing cost will be different for both the things. When the Azure virtual machine is stopped, you can continue to pay storage costs associated with the virtual machines. Yes, you have to pay even it is stopped. You should be deleting that account, then that will be not costed. Even if it is stopped, it is in the created mode only, so you will be paid accordingly. Yeah, next bit is related to a series of questions where you have one scenario and you will have to they will give a solution. You just identify that solution is meeting the goal requirement or not. If it is meeting that, you can say as yes, otherwise you can ask no. So the question they are asking is your company has an Azure subscription that contains the following unused resources: 20 user accounts and 5 groups in Azure Active Directory and 10 public IP address and 10 network interfaces. You need to reduce the Azure cost for the company. So if you want to reduce this cost, you will having these many things which are unused resources. Then what you can do? So you can remove the unused network interfaces. So by just removing unused network interfaces, you can solve this problem? No. but only network interfaces. There are so many other things also, 20 user accounts and all these things. You're not going to solve this problem by just deleting the unused network interfaces. So the statement is not meeting the requirement. You can go as no. So it is not charged because unused network resources are not charged. Therefore, deleting unused network resources will not reduce the cost of any company, right? So that is not required correct solution for that. And next solution they are providing is you can remove the unused public IP address. So for public IP address also you will be not charged in the Azure account because these are the free things. Therefore, deleting this unused public IP address will not reduce this Azure cost. So this is not an appropriate solution we are looking for. And next we have a solution like you can remove the unused user accounts. Yes, unused user accounts, like they will not cost by creating a user accounts, but they will cost only for the subscription, right? There is no thing like how many accounts you will have, but you should have this billing thing, right? So they are not charged. These user accounts also not charged. Therefore, deleting these user accounts that will not reduce the Azure cost for the company we are looking for. This is also not a correct solution they are looking for. This is not meeting the goal which you are looking for. So statement is wrong. So B, no, that is not meeting the requirement. And next next question is same. Let's see, but you can create next question is related to scenario based questions like how much you calculate the monthly uptime percentage. Like monthly uptime percentage, how can you calculate? To appropriate answer options you have to select from the answer area. So these are the things. Maximum available minutes minus downtime in minutes, maximum available minutes into 100. This is a formula for that. They're telling the maximum available minutes minus downtime minutes in divided with maximum available minutes into 100. The percentage will be you should know the uptime formula for that. So this is the uptime formula. So accordingly you can answer this question. Here we are giving references also. You can go through these links if you want to know more about that. So next is also yes or no type of questions. By creating an additional resource group in the Azure subscription, additional costs are incurred. No, by creating resource groups, they will not be cost. By copying several gigabytes of data to Azure from on-premises network over a VPN, additional data costs are incurred. Yes, that additional cost will be incurred. By copying several GB of data from Azure to the on-premises network over a VPN, additional data transfer requests are incurred. No additional cost will be incurred. So no. Pause this video and read out those things. Next, the billing purpose, like a support plan solution that gives you best practice of information, health status and notifications, and 24/7 access to the billing information at the lowest possible cost is a standard support plan. They are discussing about standard support plan. No, which are giving health status and notifications 24/7 access to the billing information at lowest possible cost is not a standard support code. At lowest possible cost you will get a basic support plan which is having all these features. They are discussing about 27 access and billing support and online self and help documentation, white papers and support forms is for basic support plan, not the standard support plan. So you can give answer as basic. That should be changed, that underlined thing, that is C, option C. And next we have bit related to Azure support plans. Can be open a new support request. Yes, these plans can open a new support request, that is Premier and Professional, Direct and Standard and Deployer only. These things supports these open support cases. You cannot open support cases in basic support plan. So that is the thing. You should know about the standard, basic and professional and developer plans. You should have the basic knowledge about that. This is also fundamentals in the Azure. And next we have this you can create an Azure support request from Azure support.microsoft.com. they are telling. So you can create a support request from this portal. You can directly create from this Azure portal. We have this helpless support tab in that, where we have this support plus troubleshooting session where you can give your concerns in that by going to help and support badge is there in the Azure portal. So from that you can request your support your request. Next, same scenario which we have discussed previous. Your company is having these many things to reduce the cost. What you are doing, they are giving a solution like you can remove the unused groups. Unused groups they are telling about. No unused groups, like they are not charged about the groups, like Active Directory groups is not going to charge by deleting those unused resource groups. Your cost of company is not reduced. So statement is wrong. You can again go to no. Let's see. Yeah, they will give the correct solution. Then we can say yes, no. The Azure Standard Support is the lowest cost option to receive 24/7 notification access to the support interface by phone. This is also lowest cost price. Coming to question is for basic, not for the standard support plan. The same bit which you are asking in a different manner, which you have discussed about. This is therefore the cheapest cost we can say as basic support plan. Whereas we have developer support plans is cheapest paid for support plan. The order of the support plans in terms of cost ranging from cheapest to lowest is first is basic, and next we have developer, and next standard, and next professional direct, and next premier. Like this we have the costing based upon the costing, that is the ranking of those services support plans. All the resource services that are in public preview are provided without any documentation. Which are in the public preview or not having any without any documentation means yes, for the public preview they don't have this excluded service level agreements, not the documents. In this all the services provided based upon the SLA, that is service level agreement. For any public preview we don't have this service level agreements, so that is excluded for that particular thing. We can pause this video and read out the explanation here. Next bit is related to guaranteed in SL for virtual machine. What is the guaranteed in virtual machine means? Uptime formula we have seen previously, which is the maximum limit of time minus uptime into maximum time divided with maximum time into 100, that is uptime. Based upon the uptime, SLA guarantees that the amount of uptime guaranteed based upon the factors such as whether your VM is availability set or availability zone, if there is more than VM, like distribution of VMs on the disk type or other things, that will depends. Next, an Azure service is available to all the Azure customers when it is in public preview. No, yes, no changes needed. The statement is correct. That should be available to all the customers when it is in public preview. And next, have a statement just related to support plan. Your company plans to purchase an Azure subscription. The company's support policy states the Azure environment must be provided an option to access support engineers by email or phone. Which is do you recommend to plan support meets the policy requirement? Which they are asking, you can recommend a basic support plan. The solution they are giving is basic support plan. The basic support plan which is cheapest cost, which is not having this many features, letting notifications for the support engineers by phone or email. This much is not in this basic support plan. So that doesn't support this thing. The solution is not meeting the goal which you are requiring for. So not true. B, no. So recommend a standard support plan. Yes, standard support plan will give these messages, will support engineers by phone or mail. Yes, you can recommend this policy to your company with this subscription, that will help. That is meeting the goal. The statement is yes. And next we have one more bit related to this thing. Your company plans to purchase Azure same. They are recommending a premier support plan. To get must provide an option to access support engineers by phone or email. So they're telling that premier support plan is also suits for that. Yes, premier support plan also suits for that. A standard, professional, data and premium support plans have a technical support for engineers via email and phone. These three are correct or solutions for that particular scenario. We can have these three support plans for that. This time they are asking about architecture review. Your company plans to request an architectural review of an Azure environment from a Microsoft. From a Microsoft, they are asking about architectural review of your Azure environment. Then your company is currently having a basic support plan. You need to recommend a new support plan for the company. The solution should minimize the cost. Which minimizes the cost other than basic to have this thing means you should recommend a plan, support plan. You should think before that. So you should go to the standards of cost based upon ranging cost. What will be the thing like to minimize the cost? If you are having this architecture, then you have to go to Premier. Premier is a support plan where provides customer specific architectural support such as design reviews and performance testing and tuning and configuration and implementation of assistance delivered by the Microsoft technical specialist. You will get this support. premium support, then you will get to know this architectural review and everything. And next we have this most Azure subscription are introduced in private preview before introduced in public preview and then in general availability. Yes, correct. Azure services in public preview can be managed only by using Azure CLI. No. The cost of Azure service in private preview decreases the service becomes generally available. No. So read out the explanation by pausing the video here. Next, what is the requirement to use Azure cost management? Coming to cost management, we have this enterprise agreement EA. By using that, you can got to know those things, which is a management with billing cost comes under the such kind of things. Next, Azure Trail account expired in last week. Now you are unable to create additional Azure Active Directory user accounts. Then this statement is correct or not? Is expired, then you are unable to create a. So you can start an existing user Azure virtual machine. You are unable to create additional Azure Active Directory user accounts, but you can start an existing Azure virtual machine for that. Yeah, stopping or deloading VM is offline, but you are not mounting on Azure host server. Starting a VM mounts on VM on host server before VM starts. As soon as VM is mounted, it should become chargeable. For this reason, you are unable to start a VM after the trail has expired. Even the trail has expired, you are not open to VM because it is already in existing virtual machine. That's why. Incorrect reasons are these things. You can pause this video and you can read out. Same related to Azure plans to support by phone or email from the support engineers. We can recommend a professional direct plan. Yes, that is also supported. So we can use premier account and standard account and professional direct account. All these are needed, but only the basic support plan doesn't have any support for engineers to work on via email or phone. The other things which is standard and professional and premier will have this support from the technicians. Your company has 10 departments. The company plans to implement the Azure environment. You need to ensure that each department can use different payment option for the Azure services it consumes. You can create what you should create for each department, so that you should create each department a subscription. Then that will be easy for you to track all these things. It's the different subscription for each department is the answer. An Azure free account has a spending limit. Yes, an Azure free account has a limit of 2 terabytes of data that can be uploaded to Azure. No. An Azure free account can contain unlimited number of web apps. No. Unlimited number of web apps you can't create. Only particular limit will be there for the free account. So only limit of 10 web apps you can create mobile apps with the free account. And next, yes or no type of question. An Azure service in the private preview is released to all the customers. No. Private preview is not released to all the customers, only specified general of things. An Azure service in public network is related to all customers. Yes, public preview is related to all the customers. Next, an Azure service in general availability is released to the subnet of Azure customers. No, subnet of Azure customers not generally available for some type of things. So you should know about this preview, what type of services, which people can use and access, and for what purpose they are actually visible in the portal. You should understand those things. A single Microsoft account can be managed multiple subscription. Yes. 2 Azure subscription can be measured into a single subscription by creating a support request. No. A company can store resources in multiple subscription. Yes. So you can read out the explanation by pausing the video. A service level agreement is guaranteed uptime for the paid Azure services at least 99.9%. Yes. Companies can increase the Azure service level agreement guaranteed uptime by adding Azure resources to multiple regions. Yes. So companies can increase the Azure SLA guaranteed uptime by purchasing multiple subscriptions. No. By using different virtual machines, different regions, they can increase. Next, the question related to badges. Yeah, here comes the last question related to badges. They are asking about. They're telling like which statement accurately describes the modern life cycle policies for Azure services. For Azure services, provide minimum 12 months of notice period before ending the service for service. Support for service. Yes, we have read this option before in this modern life cycle policy. We discussed the thing. Yes, they will provide notifications before 12 months before ending the support if there is no successor provider or service is offered, excluding free services and review releases. Next, you need to request that Microsoft increase the subscription quota limit for your company. Which plan do you choose for this portal? From the portal, which plan do you choose to open and request this from Microsoft to increase the subscription quota for your company means you should have to use this badge. Helpless support. From the helpless support, you can ask support or request what are the things which you are looking for. And next question is related to advisor. You can use advisor recommendations in Azure to send email alerts which when the cost billing period for Azure subscription exceeds a specified limit. Yes, you can have this advisor not related to cost billing or these things. It is related to resources limitations and such kind of things to give security concerns or recommendations like that. So for getting alerts related to billing processes, we should have this budget alerts where budget alerts will notify you to sending based upon the usage and cost or exceeds the amount of data in the alert condition of the budget like that. Cost management budgets are created using this Azure portal or the Azure consumption API. We can create by these two ways. Related to that budget alerts, you will get limits or subscriptions or alerts, emails for the cost of billing like that. You will be notified so that you will become alert. This bit is related to yes or no. From the Azure portal, you can distinguish between the services that are generally available and the services that are in public preview. Yes, from the portal you can identify those things. After an Azure service becomes generally available, the service is no longer updated with the new features. No, not at all, but they can implement new features at any time. We can say that generally available is not limited to that features only. We can expect the new features in the general availability services also. The statement is wrong. No. You can create Azure resources for the Azure service in the public preview. You can recreate the resources once the service becomes generally available. No, you can't recreate those things. What you have created resources in that will having features of that version only. You can't have that other in that. Next, you'll have yes or no type of questions only. When you are using Azure Express route correction, inbound data traffic from the on-premises network to the Azure is always free. Yes. On outbound data traffic from the Azure to the on-premises network is always free. No. The data traffic between Azure services within the same region is always free. Yes. So pause this video and read the explanation. And next is a type of question. Storing 1 terabyte of data in the Azure blob storage will cost the same regardless of the same region in which data is stored. No. When you use a general purpose V2 Azure storage account, we are only charged for the amount of data that is stored. All read and write operations are free. No, you will be charged for those things also. Transferring data between the Azure storage account in different Azure regions is free. No, all these things are no. You will be charged somewhat for any operations. You can pause this video and you can read out this explanation like what will be charged, how much. Like you are charged for read and write operations in general V2 storage accounts. You would be charged for the read and write operations of storage accounts, like write operations in the destination storage account like that. So that's all for today. We have completed most of the bits, like up to 60 bits we have completed in this video. So in the previous videos, in part 2, part 3, part 4, we have completed many more bits. So watch all these 4 videos so that you will definitely crack this AZ-900 exam. You can similarly expect the bits in the same concepts also. Just some little bit of changes will be there, bit to bit. So if you want to crack this AZ-100, you should watch all these 4 videos. If your friends are also writing these exams and they are bothering about that clearing this test, you can simply suggest our videos to them so that they can watch and learn the basic fundamentals of Azure. So that will definitely help you to crack this AZ-900, which is a basic fundamental first exam of Azure certifications, a basic exam which will having a 700 of bits and that is having a cutoff of 700. I think 120 bits, or we can expect like similar basic concepts related to Azure services, web apps and data lakes and storage accounts. From subscriptions we can have most of the bits and tags and related to resources and administration stuff. In scenario types of questions, if your company is migrating from this much to which will be supported, which cost you less, which cost you high, which badge is used for which, for costing where we can go, for support where we have to go, like from portal what we can do, from Azure Cloud Shell what we can do, from which device we can create resources, manage resources, ARM templates, what we can use, why we can use. So like those things will be asked. So I think everything will be cleared in this video. So if you like this video, give a big thumbs up below and share this video to your friends and colleagues, and comment if you have any doubts regarding to this, and you can expect some more questions. Do you want some more questions related to AZ-900 or any other dumps related to Azure certifications? We are going to upload soon. So stay tuned to our channel and click the bell icon to get notified each time when we upload a new video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.